absolutely beautiful day in Denver, Colorado. Welcome to Mile High Stadium, where the New England Patriots are looking for their first win of the season. They take on the 2-2 Denver Broncos. Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. Not only are the New England Patriots trying to chalk up their first win of the season, they're trying to snap a 10-game losing streak here in Denver behind quarterback Drew Bledsoe, highly criticized back in Boston, Phil, but still one of the game's elite passers.
Greg, you're 0-4. You're a quarterback in the National Football League. You are going to get criticized. You're right. Drew Bledsoe still is a franchise quarterback. He has a terrific arm, but it comes down to this. We talked to him last night. You get a couple chances a game to make those big plays. They haven't made them so far this year. To win today, he's got to make them at crucial times.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, all eyes on quarterback Brian Griese of the Denver Broncos, who missed last week because of an injured shoulder, will start and play today with that same injured shoulder.
We saw Brian Griese at practice Friday. He threw the football accurately. He had power on the football. The thing with him, and he wants to know, going out to today, when he gets hit, how will that shoulder react to it?
A look at Adam Vinatieri, who will kick it away for the Patriots. The Broncos will have the first possession this afternoon under almost totally blue skies here in Denver, Colorado. Chris Cole, number 84, is the deep man for the Broncos. Vinatieri kicks it away, and we are underway. Cole, a couple yards deep in the end zone, drops it, picks it up at the 2. 15 to about the 17 or 18-yard line. And a little scuffle in the middle of the field as we go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. A bit of breaking news here. Right before the game, Bill Belichick told me that in an effort to bring a spark to his struggling offense, he plans to use backup quarterback Michael Bishop today in a handful of plays, particularly on third down, possibly near the goal line. I asked him, would that any way affect Drew Bledsoe's status as starting quarterback? He said, no way, but we will see Michael Bishop today. Back to you.
All right, Armin. A look at Brian Griese. Torn labrum, right throwing shoulder. And not much at all on first down. As we take a look at the Denver offense, Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Neal, and Leps has paved the way for the best ground game in the AFC.
Well, you look at the backs and receivers. The big thing here, Terrell Davis back. He is healthy, probably for the first time this year.
And he is one of the two we will keep an early eye on, Phil, along with Brian Griese. How does Terrell Davis make those cuts? How is his explosiveness? And how does Brian Griese throw the football? Davis, big hole, left side. First down out across the 25 to about the 29-yard line. Lawyer Malloy with the tackle. The New England defense, their defensive front, Willie McGinnis, Brandon Mitchell, Chad Eaton, and Bobby Hamilton. The trio of linebackers, Chris Slade, Ted Johnson, Teddy Bruschi.
The defensive backs, Ty Law having an outstanding year, and Lawyer Malloy at strong safety, one of the best in the NFL.
Bill Belichick in his first year as head man of the New England Patriots. Griese to throw. Wide open Rod Smith across the 40 to the 43-yard line. 14-yard pickup, and that's another Denver first down.
Well, Greg, you hear so many times about Denver's first 15 plays. Bill Belichick says we got to sit back, see what their game plan is. Don't take many chances early. One of the things that means your corners, don't be too aggressive. Don't give them a big play early. Try to make them have a drive of 10 plays or more to go down the field to score.
Griese to throw again and goes down and loses the football. New England ball inside the 30-yard line. Willie McGinnis is there.
Willie McGinnis missed last week. He had a leg injury. He comes back. Probably the best pass rusher the New England Patriots have. And he comes up the field. Look at number 55. Comes inside. Tony Jones gets fooled. Brian Griese, because the coverage downfield, holds it just a second too long. That helps Willie McGinnis get in there, make the sack, and cause the fumble.
Bill Belichick couldn't have asked for anything more early on in the game. Here comes the blitz. Quick pass, this side, complete, Terry Glenn. And Glenn out of bounds, close to the 15-yard line. Eric Brown knocked him out after a gain of 14 yards. Drew Bledsoe has enjoyed success his last 2 games against Denver. 33 out of 54 passing for 503 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
You talk about having opportunities. This is a big one early in the game. This Patriots offense has done a lot of good things, little things, but the big thing is, can you score when given the opportunity? Right now, you need to get 7 points.
Bledsoe over the middle, incomplete, off the hands of Eric Bjornsson. Let's take a look at the New England offense. The line looking to keep Bledsoe clean today. He's been sacked 17 times. Bruce Armstrong, the only Patriot to ever start 200 games, today number 201.
The backs and receivers, I think the Patriots got to find more ways to get the ball to number 88, Terry Glenn. He is the playmaker. He's the difference maker, I think, for their offense.
Huge test early on for the Patriots. The offense has struggled mightily in the red zone. Kevin Falk to about the 11. Let's look at the Denver defensive line, Phil.
Defensive line for Denver Broncos, it's fast. Trevor Price, he's the guy up front you got to block.
Linebackers John Mobley, middle linebacker Al Wilson, 2 of the Broncos' 7 picks, and Bill Romanowski. The secondary, cornerbacks Crockett and Buckley, each with 2 interceptions. Each has returned 1 for a touchdown this season. Third and 6, Bledsoe throws complete inside the 5 towards the end zone. Troy Brown. His first touchdown of the season. And that'll solve a lot of red zone worries.
Well, it does. You know, Craig, there was an opportunity. Drew Bledsoe gets protected. Troy Brown has single coverage on the outside. Good job. Fakes in, comes out, and look at that. Drew Bledsoe makes the throw. It gets there because he throws it out there with velocity. The defensive player does not have time to react.
Vinatieri with the extra point. And it's good. The Patriots jump all over an early Denver turnover, and Drew Bledsoe's touchdown pass has New England up. The Patriots have only scored 4 touchdowns this season. That's the first time Drew Bledsoe has thrown one earlier than the 4th quarter. Chris Cole deep again for the Broncos for the kick from Vinatieri. From the goal line. Tries to break it outside, squeezes through and out to about the 20-yard line. Yeah. And back onto the field comes Brian Griese, who took the hit and coughed up the football. And, you know, watching that hit, Phil, we flash back to what Griese says. He's not worried so much about throwing the football as he is about taking a hit and how he falls.
Well, he responded from it well, Greg. I don't think he wanted to find out on his second throw of the day how his shoulder was going to hold up, but I think he's going to be okay. He should be able to take the punishment. And the big thing, we said too, we watched him in practice, him on Friday. I thought he threw the football very well with no restrictions.
Still the top-rated quarterback in the NFL, Terrell Davis. Across the 20, and a penalty marker flies in the backfield. A pickup of 5. Our referee today is Ron Blum. And this will push the Broncos back.
Holding, 78 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Right tackle Matt Lepsis.
Well, Matt Lepsis is the right tackle. We just missed him right there. Oh, there it is. Holding on number 91, Bobby Hamilton.
One thing we will keep an eye on today is Terrell Davis. Injured his left ankle in the opener against St. Louis. And still is not back up to tip-top shape, but feels good enough to start today. Griese, complete to Smith. Smith to about the 19-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and about 10.
You know, as I look at this New England defense today, Greg, I think it's played pretty well so far this season. It's done a lot of good things. They're not giving up big, costly plays. They gave a couple to the Jets, but those were just great catches. They want to come out, especially early, just be sound in what they do and see what Denver's offensive game plan for today is, and then adjust accordingly. So be conservative at first. As the game goes along, start blitzing and trying to get to Brian Greasy.
Davis is hit hard as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Now, you know, as I watch Terrell Davis, my first impressions after a few runs is it's still not back. You know, I just don't see that explosion that we've seen from him in the past. And 2 weeks ago, we had a chance to talk to him, and we were getting ready to do the Raider game. He ended up not playing that game, but he told us, he says, you know, my senses are dull. In other words, he's just not as quick to react to what he sees on the field like he was before.
Davis comes off the field as the Broncos go with 5 wide receivers on 3rd and 9. Greasy on the move, going for a first down. Doesn't get there. Gets hit hard at about the 25-yard line by Lawyer Malloy.
Oh, boy. Just listen to the hit. You can hear it from up here, and if you're at home, I know you heard it. Lawyer Malloy, all defensive backs, they want to hit that quarterback.
You know, that cameraman is a very, very dangerous job.
Well, see, Greasy's running this experiment. He wants to really test that shoulder. He's getting some good licks in early.
Troy Brown deep to receive the kick from Tom Ruin. Ruin gets it way up in the air from the 13-yard line. Brown gets it to about the 23. Ruin, the guy from Brigham Young, almost Brigham Rain. Back at Mile High Stadium, still in the early stages of the first quarter, Chris Cole's shaken up on that return. He takes a seat on the bench, and the Patriots go back to work on offense from their own 24-yard line. And movement up front, penalty markers fly. Each side points at the other.
Encroachment, 93 defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Anxious Trevor Price.
Trevor Price, number 93. Oh, that's not him. That is Trevor, I'm sorry, number 93.
So now on 1st and 5. From the 29, quick pass, Terry Glenn. Glenn breaks a tackle at the 30, past the 40 and out of bounds.
Well, that's the one thing you would like to see the Patriots do more. Not trick plays, but plays just to get the football into the hands of the guys who can make plays for you. Terry Glenn, nothing special here. Throw it outside. Terry, we're going to throw it to you. Outrun him, break a tackle, pick up a first down for us. And that's what happens.
Watching game film, you pointed out, Phil, boy, he's really quick. And then every single Bronco we talk to, they go, boy, he's really quick.
Yeah, and Drew Bledsoe thinks he's really been terrific so far this year.
Bledsoe to a wide open receiver across midfield to the 45-yard line. Chris Callaway with a 13-yard pickup.
Greg, I've always pointed out to you, when you watch a Patriot game, if you're a fan at home, watch Drew Bledsoe. When he drops back, and he gets this little hop step in there, look out. He's going to throw the football where he wants it to go, and it's going to have some power behind it. And that time, on target, accurate, another good throw. Nice catch by Chris Callaway. He is a rhythm quarterback.
Bledsoe guns it, complete at the 35, to the 30, 25, and Troy Brown on his way to the end zone. Touchdown!
Now this Denver defense, you don't really have to do special things against it because everybody makes big plays against it. Every team this year has thrown or run for big gains. So just hang in there, be sound in what you're doing, throw the football down the field. Look at this. Troy Brown wide open. Look, the tackling sloppy. Nobody there to help him. Touchdown.
Vinatieri with the point after attempt. And it's good. 7:59 to play. And the Patriots have Broncos fans in shock early on in the first quarter.
Glenn, number 88. The ball is caught by Troy Brown. He sees it. Look for somebody right away. Just that little block on Terrell Buckley makes it a touchdown. Instead, it could have just been a long reception. Leads to nothing maybe. The little things that you don't pay attention to. When you pay attention to them, it's the difference in winning football games.
Chris Cole has a dislocated elbow. He will not return. Deltha O'Neal takes this kickoff and takes a knee in the end zone. 7:52 to play here in the first quarter. We'll take a timeout, and Brian Greasy will see what he can do about that 2-touchdown deficit. You know, those Rocky Mountains give a nice look, don't they? Log on to NFL.com. Track your favorite players with up-to-the-minute stats. It's all at NFL.com. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan from Mile High Stadium in Denver. 7:52 to play, first quarter. Broncos have drives have begun at their own 19, their own 20, and again now at their own 20-yard line. Greasy to throw. Sidesteps the rush, takes off. 25, 30, has a first down out across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
That's a little different. That time New England comes with the blitz. Ted Johnson. See, they feel a little more comfortable with what they're doing on defense. Now let's pressure Brian Greasy. That has been Bill Belichick's game plan when he came in here last year with the New York Jets as a defensive coordinator. Pressuring, he doesn't think if you pressure Brian Greasy, he makes decisions that are real sound and you can cause some turnovers.
Davis to about the 34.
You know, Greg, coming into this game, we talked to Mike Shanahan. We kind of know what his offense is about. It's about they look at film, he sees the Patriots, what they do. He draws up 20 new plays and gives them different formations. That's what we're going to do today. Now, Bill Belichick, he knows that. So he says during the week when you're practicing and getting ready for this offense, you can't practice against anything really because you don't know what they're going to do. You just try to teach your players to understand that Denver's trying to confuse you and just make sure you make sound reactions.
Greasy's pass toward Ed McCaffrey is incomplete. You know, it was like talking to two chess masters. They kind of know what they want to do, but they really don't know exactly how it's going to come out. But each one sits there and says, well, we know he's going to do this, do this, do this. But exactly how, we just have to wait and see.
Now, we hear a lot of things from the coaches as we talk to them. And a lot of times they, oh, yeah, he's a good coach. But we know they don't mean it. Now, I know, and I can look at Mike Shanahan's face, that he really respects Bill Belichick for what he does. And, of course, we heard Bill Belichick says nobody makes adjustments during a game like Mike Shanahan.
3rd and 8. Greasy throws incomplete off the hands of Rod Smith. And the Broncos will have to kick it away.
Well, you can see the Patriots, if you're going to spread this defense out, what's going to happen? Brian Greasy drops back. Look at the blitz of the linebacker. Comes in free. You got to get rid of the football quickly. And you're going to take a hit. Teddy Bruschi, the linebacker, coming in untouched.
Troy Brown with 2 touchdowns to his credit today. Pulls this punt in at his 21. Tries to split the defense and up across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Under 6.5 to play in the first quarter, and Drew Bledsoe comes back onto the field. You look at Drew Bledsoe's numbers, what he has averaged in the first 4 games and what he's chalked up in the first quarter today. The Patriots have only had the ball 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and they've scored 2 touchdowns.
You know, they're just not controlling the ball well enough. Got to find something to complain about.
Time of possession is everything, isn't it? Bledsoe, little hop, throws, Bjornsson, first down out to about the 40-yard line. You know, Mike Shanahan said, telling his team, this is no 0-4 team that's normal because they have talent all over the defense. And in the first 4 weeks, they've lost, but they haven't lost by much.
I'm just waiting for somebody to yell bingo. But I think Mike Shanahan told his team that, and you know what? They listened. Because when you watch the films of this Patriot team, you realize, uh-oh, this is not the typical 0-4 team that we can just go out, go through the motions and win.
Bledsoe pulls it down, takes off, and is tackled and falls forward to the 41-yard line. Keith Traylor got his hands on Bledsoe. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Now, a couple things as I watched the game so far today. Drew Bledsoe getting protection. Bill Belichick and even Drew Bledsoe last night said, hey, our line's starting to solidify. It's getting better. The guards in the center playing real well. So they felt good about that. And then I look at this Denver defense. It is a disappointment. That's an understatement so far this year, and especially today. Mistakes, getting out of position, not adjusting to teams, moving people, and just giving up big plays.
Not much there for Kevin Falk. He may have gotten to the 43, close to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Now, you know, we talked. There's Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator. We talked to Mike Shanahan, and he voiced his displeasure with the defense. Personnel-wise, it is good. They've got players out there that can make a difference, but they play aggressive. And when you play aggressive, everybody's got to do just your job. Don't try to be a star, because once you go too far, that creates big holes and big plays.
3rd and 7. Penalty marker flies. Bledsoe down the sideline, wobbles, falls short of the intended receiver, Chris Callaway. This could be encroachment on the defense. Kavika Pittman on the near side.
Boy, that's something that's tough to do in this stadium. Drew Bledsoe goes on a hard count, and it works.
Encroachment, 95 defense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and 2. And, you know, when you're just talking about the defense, people wonder, how can that be? But Trevor Price told us exactly the same thing, Phil. Everyone is trying to do too much instead of doing just what they're supposed to do.
It's like this, Greg. Spread the field and make it 11 pieces across the field. Somebody gets over anxious and goes too far. Think what it does. It just opens up a big hole, and it's amazing what happens when you open up those holes. Michael Bishop is now in a quarterback.
Bishop fakes, keeps right side, spins, but is not going to get the first down. Eric Brown made the tackle. You heard Armin Katayan report Michael Bishop could see some action today. Bill Belichick chose now.
Well, Michael Bishop comes in, red flag goes up. Look for the fake and him running around the other side. I thought when they brought him in today in this situation, the first play, hand it off. Try to get the defense thinking, hey, it might just be a normal play instead of a Michael Bishop play. So Denver alert for it, and they stop him on the 3rd down try.
I got a question for you. With the offense going relatively well here early on.
Good point. Excellent point. Do it when you need a spark, not when you just dominate the pace of play.
Lee Johnson looking for the corner and gets it out of bounds before it reaches the end zone. And it is going to be marked at about the 10-yard line. 43-yard punt. Hey, premiering this Friday on C.
Brought up, there's Michael Bishop. You brought up a great point. Maybe you should be the analyst too. You start doing these games by yourself. I know you'd like that anyway. But the offense is just cranking. They're protecting. They're doing everything they need to do. Don't stop that momentum maybe by changing the quarterback and doing something different.
Greasy and company, first down from their own 10-yard line. Terrell Davis, left side. Not much there at all.
Now, what did Mike Shanahan say? He says when you play against Belichick's teams, his defense, they rely on 2 things, and it is true. Great technique. That means stay in the position, don't overcommit, great technique, and just toughness. He goes, they believe in that. And he says that's what makes them so good. And then when he gets you in good situations, he becomes very creative. In other words, 3rd downs, New England plays a lot of different defenses.
Greasy to throw. Far side, tight end, Wayne Carswell. And Carswell a couple of yards shy of a first down.
Well, Dwayne Carswell, you know what I like about him so far this year as you watch Brian Greasy drop back. He's always been here. Shannon Sharp, if there was a pass play to the tight end, Shannon Sharp got it. Now Dwayne Carswell, Shannon Sharp's gone. Of course, he's still primarily a blocker to help the run game, but gets to go out and catch a pass every now and then.
His 7th season, a rookie free agent signee out of Liberty, rather. Greasy, deep drop, plenty of time. Over the middle, McCaffrey wide open. To the 25, to the 27-yard line, and a first down.
Well, that's something the Broncos, one thing they'd love to do. I've done so many games for them over the years. They're going to have their quarterback drop back, and somebody is always going to come shallow across the formation. This time it's Ed McCaffrey. You could see two receivers from the right had already cleared it out. If the defense runs with them, throw it to the underneath receiver who happens to be Big Ed.
For the first time today, Mike Anderson has come in at running back. McCaffrey on the sideline. McGriff replaces him on the field. The rookie of the month in the NFL. Mike Anderson in the lineup. Greasy rolling, and now going to run and out of bounds across the 30, and here's a late penalty marker.
Holding on the defense. And that happens so much to defensive backs when a quarterback scrambles.
Holding 24 defense, 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
That's Ty Law.
You know, when a quarterback gets outside the pocket, Ty Law's covering his guy. He's got him covered. And all of a sudden, the receiver makes this wild move, and you go, what is that? So they can't react to that because they can't see the quarterback. It results in a lot of holding calls down the field against defensive backs.
McCaffrey is back into the lineup, but Mike Anderson is still the running back. Pass rush evenly distributed by the Broncos so far. Play action. Greasy down the middle. Wide open. Complete across midfield to Rod Smith. How many times in practice on Friday did we see Greasy throw that same pass?
A lot of times I thought, my gosh, is New England's defense that bad to keep throwing all these balls down the field? But look what happens. They're going to clear it out with McCaffrey. Here comes Rod Smith across. And the key is Greasy sees the corner stop and wait, so he gets rid of the football quickly, gets it to Rod Smith before he runs into trouble. Really good decision and being quick with reaction. You see Ty Law diagnoses the play, but because Greasy makes a quick decision, he can't make the play.
Short drop by Greasy, complete, and boy, is McCaffrey hit hard as he pulls it in, enough for the first down. Now the Patriots are saying that it should be incomplete. Antonio Langham delivered the hit, but that's done. That's been habit with Ed McCaffrey.
Ed McCaffrey, what would a game be if you watch the Broncos and he doesn't take some punishment? But he does it well. Big receiver, big target, and that's what a quarterback likes. That ball is too high for most receivers. Ed McCaffrey, watch it, catches it in stride, knowing he's going to take a big hit.
We're going to get a measurement for the first down here as the crowd chants Eddie.
Oh, you know, man, you know you're good when they chant your name.
First down.
They used to chant when I was playing too, Greg.
You must have been special because they added an adjective here and there.
I know, that's right. I think that did shake up Eddie McCaffrey a little as you watch him on the sideline.
We wind the clock here, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Broncos are on the move, but the first quarter has been all New England Patriots. 2 touchdown passes, Bledsoe to Troy Brown, and it's 14-0 New England. We'll come back to Mile High Stadium for the start of the second quarter right after this. Greg James, Jerry Glanville with scores and highlights on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Both Terrell Davis and Ed McCaffrey back onto the field for the Broncos. First down from the 34-yard line. Greasy. That's incomplete, falling way short. Teddy Bruschi was in on Greasy.
Boy, the Patriots getting to the quarterback. Not easy to do when you play the Broncos, but Brian Greasy that time. Mike Shanahan, I know when they get down this part of the field, they want to go deep. Watch the pressure come against Brian Greasy. It's a blitz. The Patriots, Teddy Bruschi gets there and hits the arm. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that is dangerous to a quarterback. Elbows and shoulders get hurt about half the time because your arm is hit real hard as it's going forward.
Davis, left side, tripped up as he approached the 30-yard line.
So you notice, Greg, that just like, hey, the Patriots told us the truth. Conservative defense early. Now as the game is starting to unfold, they've gotten a little more aggressive. They've been blitzing a little. Their blitzes have been very successful so far getting to Brian Griese. Caused the fumble and got pressure on him, kept him from maybe having a touchdown throw because there was single coverage deep down the field.
Brian Griese says he has learned to adjust to the pain in his shoulder. And he'll throw here with 5 wide receivers. Quick drop, slant is caught by McCaffrey. McCaffrey with first down yardage to about the 22-yard line.
I tell you what, you know, we say it so many times and we kind of have a laugh on Ed McCaffrey because he does take so many big hits. But what price can you put how valuable this is? To be able to go over the middle, keep the drive alive, make a tough catch. Look, the ball's out in front. You don't want to make a hand catch over the middle. You want it stuck in your chest. Take the hit and still hang in there, not get hurt, keep on going.
That is 2 third-down catches McCaffrey has made on this drive to keep it alive. First down. And nothing there for Terrell Davis as he tries the near side. Ted Johnson helping stack up the play. Well, it'll be 2nd and 9.
Greg, just a terrific job by the New England defense. They play a different style. I don't know who else the Denver Broncos play this style of defense. In other words, defensive linemen hit, they stand there and they react to where the action is going. Most teams just run and hit the hole and see if they can make a play in the backfield.
And see that the New England defense has not allowed a 300-yard passer or a 100-yard rusher over its last 7 games. Griese with time over the middle has his man Carswell to the 15-yard line.
Well, a lot of good things on that play. Good coverage down the field, but you see, you know, Bill Belichick came in here last year with the Jets, and he took advantage of Brian Griese. He beat him up a little as a young quarterback. Well, Bill, those days are over. This guy can read defenses, and that play alone illustrates a lot. Can get rid of the football quickly and throws it very accurately down the field.
Griese now 6 out of 7, and we take a timeout to stop the clock with 12:18 to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Denver right after this. No question that the Denver offense has come alive on this drive, which began on its own 10-yard line, and with huge contributions from Ed McCaffrey. 5 wide receivers now on 3rd and 3. Quick drop, quick pass, complete inside the 10. First down to Rod Smith. It'll be 1st and goal for the Broncos.
See, they come out in 5 wide receivers, the Denver Broncos. They make people move. They move around, and look what happens. They get what they want. Rod Smith against Bucky Jones. Maybe your #1 receiver against a safety, and definitely not your first defensive back when it comes to pass coverage. So get good matches, throw to that guy who has a good match.
Terrell Davis, hole on the right side, inside the 5-yard line. Lawyer Malloy saved the touchdown.
Now that was a typical Denver Broncos running game run. Here you come behind, watch the lineman pulling. You think it's going right. Now Terrell makes that little cut, go right downhill, up inside, and run hard and pick up the positive yards.
5-yard pickup on the play. As you look at Terrell Davis's numbers, it's 2nd and goal. Davis again to the 3.
Now last week, Denver got down inside the 5 a couple times, and they have, over the years, have been very good in the red zone of scoring. They get down inside from the 1 time, do not get in the end zone. Instead of coming out with like 14 points, they came away with 6.
There's Terrell Davis. It's hard to believe. No touchdowns rushing as yet this year. The 98 MVP and Super Bowl MVP as we take a timeout on the field. Brian Griese comes to the sideline to figure out what's going to happen here, and we'll take a timeout. 2-yard line.
You know, Greg, you brought up a point during the commercial. In years past, the Broncos would get in this situation. They just give it to Terrell Davis, and they rip it into the end zone, or The defense is so tuned in to where he was. If you faked it to him, I kept going, how can Shannon Sharp continuously kept that little pass down inside for those touchdowns? Well, the reason why was number 30.
Number 30 comes off the field along with Howard Griffith, and we have 5 wide receivers. 3rd and goal. Greasy, quick drop, quick pass, incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Rod Smith.
Boy, I could see what they were trying to do on the play. Good coverage by Otis Smith. But the big thing was pressure in Brian Greasy's face. Let's watch it. This time, Otis Smith on Rod Smith. Now, Otis Smith has seen it all. Good position. Look at that. Really no window to throw the football in. And look at Greasy. Knows that he has to get rid of it right away. 5 wide receivers, pressure the quarterback up in the middle. Can't see that well, and not long to make a decision.
Jason Elam still not back off the injury list. Joe Nedney with the 20-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. So the Broncos get on the board with just over 10.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Back at Mile High Stadium. Nedney about ready to kick it away to the New England Patriots, and number 33, Kevin Falk, is the deep man for New England. 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Broncos took off the clock on that last drive. Falk will get a run back out of this one from the 1. Avoids a tackle, avoids another tackle, and dives across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. You know, last night, Drew Bledsoe told us his team just desperately needed a win. Well, just how desperate unfolded on Thursday at practice when halfway through, Bill Belichick had to actually stop practice and tell his players to take their pads off because, in his words, they were killing each other. Well, right now, as you can see, they're killing somebody else. Back to you.
All right, Armin.
Wow, I like that. Spirit, well, you know what, Craig? My first thought was 0-4, we're going to have to do the game. I'm going, oh, come on, they're 0-4. But then as you start studying, we watch the films, we talk to the teams, our opinion changed, and we realize New England is close, and they have been getting better.
Bledsoe pulls it down and gets back to about the line of scrimmage.
And a couple things came up as I was getting ready for the game. Talking to Bledsoe last night, and come on, we've talked to him many times over the year. He was forceful, he was confident. I think he believes in what the Patriots are trying to do. Lawyer Malloy, the same thing. They believe in the program that Bill Belichick is setting up. In other words, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to play hard, and it's going to win for us in the end. Now, the big thing is they need some reinforcement. They got to get a win to let it know that, well, look, this is the way it's got to be done.
2nd and 10. Quick pass out here, Terry Glenn across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Eric Brown made the tackle.
Well, we've seen this play once today. Different formation this time. And again, just keep giving the ball to Terry Glenn. Short passes, look for him down the field. And he rewards you. He makes good yards every time he touches the ball.
Going back to Drew Bledsoe, Phil, he sounded very confident. And, he says each and every one of these 4 losses to the New England Patriots have come down to just 1 or 2 plays that if they had made them instead of missing them, they'd be winners instead of losers. Bledsoe under pressure, throws, incomplete, penalty marker down on the near side of the field.
Illegal formation, 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense, penalties declined, 4th down.
I'm looking at Drew Bledsoe holding his hand. I know he gets hit on the blitz. Al Wilson and Bill Romanowski come. Al Wilson coming free. Oh, you can see. Puts that helmet right on the arm.
And Bledsoe, Mike Shanahan, very complimentary about Drew Bledsoe. As in recent years, he has proven he has been able to hang in there and take a hit. Deltha O'Neal deep for the punt from Lee Johnson.
Greg, the rap used to be that Bledsoe wouldn't take the hit, but he's proven over the last couple of years that he will.
O'Neal from his own 20-yard line. Stumbles a bit, reverses field, brought down at the 26-yard line. Pretty good play by Rob Holmberg on New England special teams after the 56-yard punt by Johnson. Yeah, the Broncos have been starting in a hole for most of the day. In fact, if they start now from their own 26-yard line, it's their best starting position of the afternoon. Rod Smith flanked to the near side of the field. Mike Anderson is the running back. And whistle blows before the play gets off. And we're going to have a false start against the Broncos.
Prior to the snap, false start, 77 offense. 5 yards, repeat first down.
Left tackle Tony Jones.
You know, I've noticed that Otis Smith now on the defensive secondary for the New England Patriots. They took out to Bucky Jones. So what they're doing, they're going with more cover people. So if Denver spreads out, they feel like they got better man-to-man coverage people in there to take care of it.
Fourth penalty of the day against the Broncos. Greasy. Tipped as it went across the line, and it's incomplete, intended for Dwayne Carswell. He was wide open on the near side of the field, and somewhere along the offensive line, one of the Patriots got a hand on it.
Yeah, Chad Eaton, number 90, got good push up inside, but Willie McGinnis, number 55, I think is the guy that touches the football. Oh, nice job by Willie McGinnis. Pull him back inside. When you see the quarterback's going to throw, raise those arms.
So it'll be 2nd and 15, and once again the Broncos go with the 5 wide receivers. Downfield and overthrowing Rod Smith, his intended receiver. And we have a penalty marker back upfield.
Well, they're getting what they want, the Broncos. Holding. Again, pressure inside right away. Henry Thomas, number 95, stops Brian Greasy. Gets the holding call, but stops Brian Greasy from getting a long completion to Rod Smith.
Holding, 66 offense. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Penalty is on Tom Nalen. They turn the penalty down. It'll be 3rd and 15.
You know, it's a nice plan the Broncos got. Spread them out. Try to get, look it up, Cam. Number 95, Henry Thomas. A nice tackle by Tom Nalen. But you got to do that. Protect your quarterback.
Henry Thomas delivered a pretty good opening shot to Nalen. 3rd and 15. Greasy feeling the pressure, on the run, brought down at about the 22-yard line by Willie McGinnis.
Well, that's the other thing, Greg. Now, all game long, they are getting back in the backfield. Pressure up front by New England's pass rush. Now, I didn't come into this game thinking, hey, New England's pass rush is really good, and they're going to present problems to Denver's offensive line. But they're pushing the pocket. They're taking Greasy's attention away from downfield. They're making him pull the football down and doing a good job of tackling.
Troy Brown is deep. Bruin hangs this one a mile high from the 31. Brown, nowhere to go. Down at about the 34-yard line. 47-yard punt and a 4-yard return. We have 7:41 to play in the first half. Welcome back to Mile High Stadium in Denver. 7:41 to play here in the first half. Total yardage is about even, but look at it, 6 rushing yards. Who says you need to run the setup pass? Not today, not for the Patriots. Bledsoe to throw again, under the gun, throws the screen, Falk breaks away, gets some blocking, 40, 45, midfield, and into Denver territory across the 40-yard line.
Boy, that is a good play call by Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator. Denver has been aggressive. Watch, there comes the blitz up inside. Let's get to the quarterback. And Bill Romanowski doesn't make the tackle. Nice blocking downfield. Damian Woody makes an excellent block down the field. And Drusy, nice inside. Tony Simmons looking for somebody to block. That's when you throw a screen, when the defense gets real aggressive. They get upfield real quick, and you create a big separation between the line and the defensive backs. That's how you make a big play.
Play clock running down, and now Bledsoe has to use a timeout. The Patriots have one left. 6:51 to play, first half, and we'll be back. For each NFL game as it happens, just click on live scores at cbs.sportsline.com.
You know, when you play the Patriots, Charlie Weis, the coordinator, he grew up under Bill Parcells. They believe in screens, reverses, and one or two gadget plays they always have ready to make a defense play honest.
You saw that number. Falk slips on the handoff. Keith Traylor is there to make the tackle. This field is not in the greatest condition, especially right down the middle.
Well, see, now, if you're going to talk about it, you got to tell the truth. It's terrible. And that's all you hear about. I read about it. I hear about it from the Bronco players. They hate it. The field is not good. Here, they say their practice facility, they have fields that are magnificent. Then they come here for the games and got to play on basically a second-rate surface.
Kevin Falk, 3 carries, 4 yards today. Here's a handoff across the 40. Falk to the 38-yard line. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Guys, you're talking about this field, and I did some reporting before the game. It really boils down to a turf war between the Broncos and the people from the city and county that take care of this field. The Broncos with this new facility are going to take care of their own field. This field, only 6 games left, has always been maintained by the city and the county Parks and Recreation Department, who have basically neglected it, feeling there's only 6 games left. So who cares? And this is what you get. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin. Makes you want to come out and play football here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
J.R. Redmond, the rookie out of Arizona State, is in the backfield now for New England. They pick up the blitz as Bledsoe throws over the middle and is very upset that he couldn't complete that when Eric Bjornsson is his intended target.
Well, I think he hit his hand, but I think what he's really upset about, the receiver is open. Let's see if he gets his hand hit, because he has been shaking his arm. Oh, I know. You know why he's upset he didn't hit it? Because the blitz was picked up. He could have set his feet, taken his time, and hit the open receiver, but that's easy to say from here. When they send about 8 guys up the middle, a quarterback's going to panic. It just depends on what degree of panic.
So Lee Johnson going to kick it, and Delpha O'Neal is deep. Johnson will try to aim for a corner here.
And he hooks it.
Gets seats with it. And it's going to go into the end zone, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. 38-yard punt. Now premiering Friday on CBS at UBS. Bledsoe now 26,904 yards. That's the most in New England history, passing Steve Grogan, who was a pretty good quarterback in his own right.
Yes, he was. Pretty tough guy. And Drew Bledsoe, that says a lot nowadays. And this day and age, anytime you become the all-time leader of a franchise as a quarterback, you got to be pretty good.
Mike Anderson with the carry. Out to about the 25-yard line as this series begins with Anderson in the backfield and Terrell Davis on the sideline.
Well, you know, Greg, we said right away, Terrell Davis, it just doesn't look like the running back we saw in the past. I don't expect to see that, but I see a guy that's still fighting the injury, the fact that he's not 100%. He just doesn't have that spring in his step. And he told us something, too, 2 weeks ago that I had left my mind.
Anderson the other way, and not much there.
I'd say the big thing is, and I remember we said this to Terrell, the rehab, all the work and the emotion physically and all that you got to put in to getting that knee better, it wears you out. So instead of spending the offseason getting refreshed and ready for a new season, he's putting so much effort into it that there's really not a lot left to put into the games as they come along. And it's going to take him all year. If he can make it through the year without any serious setbacks, I think we'll see the real Terrell Davis again next year.
Greasy has time over the middle. Carswell with the reception, and that's enough for a first down. You know, going back to Terrell Davis for a moment, when we saw him a couple of weeks ago in Oakland, he fully expected to play, but he didn't. And then he said he was healthy and ready to go for this game. And I'm just wondering if a player doesn't really have the proper perspective on his own injury.
Well, I think it felt better than it had. I read one of his quotes. He says, hey, I got the spring in my foot again, so it must have felt better. But you know what? When you get in the game and you start getting hit, you realize it's not great.
Greasy throws, complete to Smith. and Smith almost broke it at midfield. Out to the 48-yard line, Antonio Langham made the saving tackle.
Well, Brian Griese blitz up inside again by the Pats defense, and what a good job he does. Watch Ted Johnson come in, nice block by Mike Anderson, then comes a free blitzer, and look to the outside. Antonio Langham against Rod Smith. He lets it go way before he comes out of the cut. That is something. I'm not sure if it was to Rod Smith or the tight end coming across, and he overthrew him, but nice completion.
Griese and the Broncos now first down from their own 48. Play fake to Anderson. Griese throws this side, incomplete, intended for McCaffrey.
Another good job by the Patriots defense, not taking a lot of chances. Willie McGinnis right back at the quarterback again. Because he's there, that makes the football go high and incomplete. Pressure on the quarterback. We say this. It makes him speed up the process, doesn't see as good, doesn't think as good, and of course he's not going to throw near as accurately.
The word from the Bronco bench is that Terrell Davis's foot is bothering him. We may not see him again this afternoon. Second down, Griese with time, throws, incomplete. Howard Griffith out of the backfield. Patriots cover the ball, but Griffith never really had possession. And it'll be 3rd and 10.
You know, as I watched this game too, it reminds me of what Mike Shanahan told us this weekend. He says, when you play this defense, you got to know they're willing to give you 5- and 6-yard gains because they expect you somewhere along the line to make that mistake to ruin your drive. And that's what it's looked like. Denver's making some plays. They're getting some first downs, but they're not getting those explosive plays that they're used to.
Once again, they go 5 wide on 3rd down. Griese with all kinds of time and throws, and someone not where Griese thought he would be. Travis McGriff was on the lower part of your screen. It was incomplete.
Well, I think he threw it right where he was supposed to an open space where there was no defenders. Because if he'd have thrown that football, Greg, to Rod Smith, the Patriots doing a good job again. Who does he want to throw to? Rod Smith and McCaffrey. Double him. If he throws it to him, it's going to be an interception.
Griese now 2 for his last 8 throwing the ball, and Troy Brown back to take the punt. Owen with a huge punt that hits at the 5 and bounces into the end zone. So Patriots and Bledsoe will start from their own 20-yard line, and Bledsoe's had himself an adventurous afternoon so far.
Well, he's really, hey, there it is, that little hop. When the man gets that hop, look out, going to throw it on target. Good protection. That's what I've noticed so far today. And then keep completing those passes, and sooner or later, somebody's going to make a big play for you.
You know, Phil, you and I were watching him in action last week against Miami, and he had that hop then.
You know what, Greg, when he does get it, of course that means nobody's around him. He can see and he can gather himself to throw the football. And we've noticed again here today that he does have a terrific arm when he gets time.
They start on the ground, and Kevin Falk breaks it up the middle across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. And we are coming up on the 2-minute warning.
And it's 2:16, 2:15. Patriots being smart, let it go down to 2 minutes. You play the clock. Don't let Denver get another chance at having it in the first half.
13-yard pickup is the last one before we take our 2-minute timeout. And we'll be right back. .com halftime report. Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, Craig James, and Jerry Glanville, who sure sounded like he was looking for a coaching job on the pregame show. They'll get you caught up on scores and highlights. NASDAQ.com halftime report. I don't know, would you hire Jerry Glanville to coach your team?
Well, first, I'll get to that later, Craig, but Six has said, look at the first down passing. That's when a quarterback usually gets his best protection.
Falk up the middle. More running room to the 38.
Yeah, I heard Jerry Glanville. You know, if somebody was running for president, politic this hard to win that as he does trying to get a head coaching job, he'd win in a landslide. So I don't know why it's not working, Jerry.
You got to be part of the debate. Bledsoe throws this side. Falk, boy, in a battle for the football, and it's incomplete. John Mobley had his hand right in there as Falk tried to pull it in.
Well, I tell you what, John Mobley almost took it out of his hands for the interception. Watch this. Looks like he's got it. He takes it down and doesn't protect the football. You got to know, and you saw the defenders right there. And John Mobley strips it out.
John Mobley, leading tackler for the Broncos coming into this game with an interception already this season. Third down has been tough for Bledsoe and the Patriots so far today. 3rd and 5. Little hop, pulls it down, throws complete. Penalty marker is thrown in the backfield. That's out to the 45-yard line of the Broncos and a 16-yard pickup to Terry Glenn. But now let's check the penalty marker.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. I thought it was going to be a holding call that late, but couple things there. What a job of hanging in the pocket. Drew Bledsoe, people all around him,
Personal
stands
foul,
there.
roughing the passer, 98 defense. 15 yards.
Tanabasa, here he is on the outside. Look at that, hanging in there and just whips it. I know it's not a big hit, but look, it's gone. Don't hit him. You know, now you can't start judging. Oh, it didn't hurt, it did hurt. What do you mean? Let's see, I'll let you put a helmet on there and be Drew Bledsoe and see what you think.
Okay.
They all hurt.
Bledsoe, 8 of his 9 completions, good for 10 yards or more so far today. First down from the 30-yard line. 1:25 to play. Blitz over the middle. Bjornsson inside the 25.
Nice job by the offensive line. Bledsoe, they relaxed. The blitz came up the middle. They all gathered their thoughts. You throw it to the receiver quickly because you can't pick up all the blitzes.
They'll go without a huddle now on 2nd and 4. Fault inside the 20. And Eric Brown makes the stop at the 17-yard line.
Yeah, keep it going. Smart play here. Don't call the timeout. You got plenty of time, but you got the defense scrambling. They don't know what's going on, so keep the momentum going.
J.R. Redmond in the backfield. Bledsoe, time, throws over the middle, incomplete. Terry Glenn, the intended receiver, was bumped just as the ball got there.
You know, I usually give the benefit of the doubt to the defensive back. This is not even close. Watch Terry Glenn. Comes across, runs right through him. Well, the argument could be Jimmy Spencer, he was making a play for the football, so he was in front of the receiver.
It's not like you to be rash.
Man, so let's come back and retract it once again.
8th play of this drive. Patriots with 1 timeout remaining. Pass over the middle is complete. J.R. Redmond to the 13-yard line. Coming up on half a minute to play, and Bledsoe will use his 3rd and final timeout to stop the clock with 31 seconds left.
Well, Drew Bledsoe, look, good protection, but he's holding the ball a little too long. You're going to take that hit. When you know you've held it just a second too long, you know somebody's going to come free, and Glenn Cadrez, wow, he goes down low, and Bledsoe, good job, stay light on your feet, take the hit.
Well, I'll talk about that red zone offense of the New England Patriots. 10th and 96, 16th and 97th, and then it's just been going in the wrong direction.
Well, they're 1 for 1 today, but Greg, usually when you see that, it tells me one thing. Your offensive line is incapable of overpowering a defense in known situations, and your running backs just can't make enough people miss. That usually, all teams that have great red zone offenses, they have one thing in common. Their offensive line in a running game is almost unstoppable when they need to do it.
Tony Carter and J.R. Redmond are the backs behind Bledsoe. He is out of timeouts. Plenty of time. Throws, got a man, touchdown! J.R. Redmond, his first NFL touchdown.
What a play, nice call, good blocking up front, and you give the quarterback extra time. And what happens with the extra time? The running back, J.R. Redmond, now can make a move down the field makes it awfully hard for Bill Romanowski to cover him.
Phil, we saw Bledsoe do that same thing in the game last week against Miami. Start to crank it up, pull it down, reload, and then throw.
Last week he got an adrenaline rush. The ball went too far. That time, Greg, exactly what I was thinking. He went real relaxed and made a perfect throw.
Vinatieri's kick is good. It is a 21-3 New England lead. And let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, look what happens. Just watch Drew Bledsoe first. Looking down the field, he knows he wants to go. Oh, it's not open, but he recovers and stays relaxed. And look how soft he threw the football. He knows J.R. Redmond is going to go out and up. Bill Romanowski overcommits. Hey, when you're 0-4, you get excited about everything.
Who's the first man to Drew Bledsoe? Bruce Armstrong, who told us last night, I've been on the field for every one of the games that Drew Bledsoe has played in a New England uniform.
Yeah, that's a nice relationship the two of them have. And, you know, quarterbacks, I think you should always have great relationship with your offensive lineman. And even one that's even a little more special with that left tackle if you're a right-handed quarterback.
You guys are dumb, but you aren't that dumb, are you?
No, it's not. No.
80 yards in 9 plays.
Well, I tell you, the offense, this offense today now, Denver's defense has struggled all year long, but still, the New England offense, we have not seen this explosion, guys catching the ball or doing it, just doing extra with it once they get it in their hands.
Vinatieri's kick. Delta O'Neal, 2 yards deep in the end zone. To the 20, tripped up, falls forward to the 23-yard line. Tony George with the tackle. 25-yard return, and another little squabble in midfield is quickly broken up.
Very surprising first half for all. I think we were all in agreement as we were getting ready for the game that this would be close. It would be a tough, hard-fought game. And could New England maybe find a way to steal it late or something like that? I don't think we ever thought, well, I didn't, that they would jump out to a big lead and put all the pressure on Denver.
Let's go back to what Drew Bledsoe said last night about how 1 or 2 plays can make the difference, and today he's made those plays when he had to.
You're exactly right. That last play was a perfect example of what he was talking about and what he did.
Greasy over the middle. Penalty marker is down as the pass is broken up. Ty Law came across from his cornerback position to get a hand on it.
Yeah, you know, Greg, holding on the defense. I wouldn't have done this if I was a Denver Broncos.
Illegal hands to the face, 54 defense, 5 yards, first down.
Teddy Bruschi, the guilty party.
And if I was Brian Greasy, I wouldn't even think of throwing a football down the middle unless it was wide open. 21-3, you can still come back in the second half, but a mistake here and the game could be over. And you only got 15 seconds. I don't know if you make 2 or 3 good plays, it's going to be enough to even get a field goal try.
Greasy going to throw it again. With time, over the middle, Rod Smith out to the 40-yard line, and that's a first down. And they stop the clock with 8 seconds to play. We'll tell you right now, Armin Katayan is going to have a word with Mike Shanahan as he leaves the field, and what Shanahan's take on this first half is will be very interesting.
Armin hopes. You got to change that. You know, I noticed last week, and you just never know about how teams and how they're going to come out and play games. I know this. New England is desperate. And desperate teams with a little talent, man, you hate to play teams like. If I was Denver last week, I would have been rooting for New England to win because 1-3 is an easier team to play than 0-4. Especially when that other team you're playing thinks they're pretty good and they shouldn't be in the situation they're in.
8 seconds on the clock and 1 timeout left for the Broncos. 5 wide receivers. Greasy gets rid of it in a hurry. Wide open over the middle is Byron Chamberlain, and Chamberlain is across the 35, and he's going to run out of time in the first half. Well, 26-yard pickup.
Greg, I'm sorry, they forgot to tell him in the huddle, get down quick once you catch it so we can try about a 55-yard field goal.
Let's go down to Armin Katayan with Coach Shanahan.
Mike, I saw you staring at that scoreboard and that 21-3 score like you couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, we got to do something about it. We've given up a couple big plays. We haven't been able to sustain drives offensively. So we're going to have to play a lot better in the second half.
You told us in the production meeting about your defense that you were upset that they were giving up big plays. You wanted them to step up. So far, that hasn't really happened.
No, you're right. Unless we do something about it, it's going to get worse. But hopefully we'll make some adjustments at halftime and play a lot better in the second half and try to get it done.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Greg?
All right, Armin, adjustments are what the Denver Broncos and Mike Shanahan are all about. 21-3 at halftime coming up. Off to New York for the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Jim, Craig, Mike, and Jerry with all the NFL news, scores, and highlights. Right after turnover has led to a couple of touchdowns. 21-3 Patriots, and CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League continues after a word from your local station. The ultimate key is time of possession. The Broncos have had the football 7 minutes longer than New England has, and the Patriots lead it by 18. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, the Patriots with the first half advantage, and they're going to get the kickoff here in the second half.
Well, maybe the Patriots, as they're running in the end zone, should fall down so they can run another play or two. Is that what you think?
Kevin Falk from the 3-yard line to the 15, 20, breaks loose at the 30, and out to the 34-yard line. So they will start with good field position here in the second half as we welcome you back to Mile High Stadium. And field position has really been what this first half has been all about, Phil.
Well, it's made it tough on the Broncos. Anytime you got to go 80 yards, Greg, to score a touchdown, something could go wrong, especially when you're going against a defense that likes to get up in small chunks. So to get back in the game, Denver, the defense, it's got to stop the big plays. It's got to get New England's offense off the field quickly and get a turnover. Present some things to your offense. Make it easier for them.
Turnover is what got the Patriots started early in the first half. On first down, they'll give it to Redmond, and Redmond is smacked before he gets to the line of scrimmage. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Talked to Bill Belichick. He said he was really pleased with all the big plays in the first half. But like you guys were talking about, he said the Broncos are so explosive and they're going to be going for the turnovers. He said we have to hold on to the ball. And he said, frankly, I don't know if 21 points is going to be enough. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin.
Well, the one thing the Patriots have done, Greg, you talk about field position. Here they are at the 32-yard line. If you get one first down, now you're going to punt it back inside the 20 again, and you're going to make it tough on the Broncos offense.
Bledsoe, time, intercepted. Terrell Buckley to the 40, still dancing, and brought down at the 38-yard line. His third in. And just as the Patriots started the game with a big turnover, the Broncos get one here early in the second half.
Well, a couple things here. The main thing is pressure on the quarterback, makes him throw it before he's ready. Look outside. Terrell Buckley, go inside. He goes underneath you. He's done that so many times in his career. He reads an in route, go inside.
Over on the sideline, defensive coordinator Greg Robinson says that's more like it.
Well, they know they got to come out, force the issue, and they get it done. The pass rush on Bledsoe caused the turnover.
Mike Anderson with the handoff may have gotten a yard on the play. Bobby Hamilton coming on to make the stop from his defensive end position. It'll be 2nd and 9. And more squabbling in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Which is about the third one so far today by my count.
It's all right. It's supposed to be chippy and things down. It's okay. Just don't throw a punch and cost your team 15 yards. But, you know, going back to that interception, Greg, Drew Bledsoe, a little pressure, throws it before he wants, and the ball's about a yard off target. Terrell Buckley would have knocked it down if he threw it where he wanted to, but he wouldn't have intercepted it.
Greasy, play fake, time, throws all alone inside the 20-yard line is Rod Smith. It'll be first down.
Well, that was a really good play call by Denver. Two receivers outside, Ed McCaffrey, Rod Smith. They get the defense going backwards. McCaffrey keeps going deep. Everybody goes with him, and look at Rod Smith, wide open. He's wide open because McCaffrey clears it out down the field. They're trying to stop the big play, creates a big hole in the sideline.
The 27-yard pickup, Denver's longest offensive play of the day. Greasy rolls, throws, McCaffrey inside the 5 and out of bounds. at the 3-yard line. Ty Law ran him out. It'll be 2nd and goal.
That's a big play, something that Denver uses all the time. Put the receiver on the inside, quarterback rolls to him. It's a hard throw, really, for any quarterback, but he puts it right on the numbers. Nice tackle by Ty Law, too.
Ed McCaffrey, the man on the receiving end today. Anderson.
When you go back to Ty Law's tackle, why that was so good, he kept Ed McCaffrey from falling forward for another yard, yard and a half. Then you can just blow it in the end zone with a couple runs. From the 3-yard line, now it's a whole different thing. You get stopped on the run, and now what do? But again, watch Ty Law. Not the biggest corner in the league, but boy, nice job. Up underneath, and look at McCaffrey, even leaning forward, can't go forward for that extra yard and a half.
Greasy throws, Griffin in the flat, going for the end zone. He doesn't get there, and he's down to the 2-yard line. It'll be 4th and goal.
Well, I think Mike Shanahan knows he's got to go for it, but Brian Greasy, not a good throw. Mike Anderson coming out of the backfield is going to score, except Brian Greasy makes him turn and slow down just enough to let the defensive backs and linebackers get in position to tackle him.
Travis McGriff comes onto the field. Billy Miller comes onto the field on offense for Denver. So they're going to go with 4 wide receivers, and Byron Chamberlain lines up in the backfield. Greasy, quick drop, throws, batted up, incomplete, and the ball will go over to the Patriots.
Well, the Patriots are doing such a good job against this spread offense, and I tell you what, if it doesn't get knocked down, it doesn't matter. Otis Smith is going to make the play, so they know how to defend the spread offense of the Denver Broncos.
Patriots hold at their goal line, and now 1st down New England from their own 1, and the Broncos fans want another turnover. Movement up front. Keith Traylor comes charging across and blames it on the offense.
Look at this right here. Otis Smith and Rod Smith up the top. Watch the throw, even if it's not knocked down by Ted Johnson. Otis Smith going right underneath to try to get it. He's going to get it. And watch this throw to Howard Griffith. If he doesn't have to turn around, he is going to walk into the end zone, but turning around gets him stopped at the 2-yard line. So the Patriots were the team that came into today's game. They couldn't capitalize when in the red zone. Well, Denver didn't last week either. But today, Denver not making the plays when they have the chance or when it counts.
That penalty is the 3rd encroachment call of the day on Denver. And it moves the ball out to the 6. And Tony Carter is hit head on. And Al Wilson is the man celebrating. You would presume he's the one who made the hit.
Well, watch Al Wilson come up the middle. Mike Shanahan talked about him. He says, hey, he is a terrific hitter. Here he comes. Oh, that is a good hit. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, nice hit by 56. John Mobley cleans it up.
That from the camera worn by umpire Steve Wilson. Carter and Shaw in the backfield. On 2nd and 6. Quick pass outside. Terry Glenn across the 20, out to the 23-yard line, and a 1st down for New England.
How good is that? Not many teams in the NFL with all the good receivers that this league has now can line up and take the quarterback 1 step and fire it out here, and look, it's not even close. Terry Glenn just goes right around Ray Crockett. Doesn't even get a hand on him. Now the offense can take a deep breath and run your regular offense.
They're going to keep it on the ground with Harold Shaw trying to turn the corner, and he does. The 25 out to about the 27-yard line.
Now see what happens in situations like this. I can already see it. The Denver defense, they are going to sell out because they know, and they've already done it, you got to make the plays. Greg Robinson sitting over there. It's easy now, Greg. Just attack. But what it's doing, too, you're getting Terry Glenn Troy Brown, single coverage on the outside. The Patriots should be able to make some big passing plays down the field.
Play clock down to 3, down to 2, and Shaw nowhere. Third and 7.
Just tell him I want to go. I couldn't read his lips there. I could have got the defense, but
once again, the faithful rise up here in Mile High. Kevin Fault, the lone back. Bledsoe with time, throws it this side. It is incomplete. Chris Callaway trying to pull it in before he went out of bounds and didn't quite make it.
you know, really, that's okay. The crowd noise, the adrenaline, the defense. You've thrown an interception. You just came out from your own goal line. It's hard to really pull the trigger and be positive in that situation as a quarterback. So play it safe. Punt it. Let your defense go out there and do it again.
Delva O'Neal deep. Lee Johnson booms one out of there. O'Neal at his own 25. Dances through the first wave of tacklers to the 35, up the sideline and out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Tony Carter ran him out. Pretty good field position for Brian Greasy to go back to work. Well, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots on top by a 21-3 score. You want to know why Mike Shanahan was wary of that New England defense? Look at that. 13 points allowed in the last 8 quarters. Greasy throws. McCaffrey, first down yardage, just short of the 50-yard line. A little oxygen in the Mile High City never helps on the sideline.
You know, I never did that. I wondered, does it feel good when you do that? Really, I'm serious. You ever done it?
Well, it might explain a lot about you.
Yeah. I guess I never could lose my breath on a football field. You got to run fast to do that.
One play, one first down. Greasy to throw again. Throws far side. That's complete across midfield to Rod Smith. Gain of a couple, and we check in with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, the Bengals look like under Dick LeBeau they might be ready for their first win of the season. Led 13-0, but they let the Dolphins back into it. Gave up an easy touchdown before the half on a defensive return, and now Lamar Smith from 18 yards out has put Miami ahead in the third. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. Well, here's a perfect example of how you don't give up on a play if you're a DB. Mike Shanahan looking on. Greasy keeps, throws. McCaffrey had it and dropped it.
Well, I'm sitting here while I waited a second to talk. I can't remember the last time I've seen Ed McCaffrey drop a sure, easy catch. The Patriots blitz, nobody, man coverage. Ty Law way off the receiver. Ed McCaffrey knows it. He's going to try to stop and wheel back inside, but he didn't even take his eyes off the football either. Just dropped the football, hit him in the chest, and it came out.
5 wide receivers now on third down from the 49. Quick drop, tipped at the line, incomplete.
How many tips have we seen today? That had to be one of the points for this defense coming in today. Anytime they go 5 wide receivers, that tells you a couple things. The quarterback is going to take a short drop, get rid of it quickly. So defenders, raise your arms up. That time it was Brandon Mitchell, number 98. Look at him. Excellent job of getting your hands up on the short drop. Another incomplete pass.
Troy Brown inside his own 10-yard line. Sky-high punt. Fair catch called for, and he pulls it in at the 10. And that's where the Patriots will go back to work on offense. 6:42 to play. Third quarter. Patriots hosting Peyton Manning and the Colts. Late game, Denver at San Diego, Seattle at Carolina. Check your local listings beginning with the NFL Today.
Well, that Buffalo at Miami, it is going to be a good game. Crucial early in the season.
Bledsoe back. Taps the ball, brings it down, takes off, and gets clocked at the 10-yard line. Al Wilson with yet another huge hit today.
Well, Mike Shanahan said, Al Wilson, he is a big hitter. He loves to do it. Let's watch him, number 56, Drew Bledsoe, being smart. Protect the football down inside. And, oh, yeah.
Ow.
The problem with Al Wilson is he likes to hit so much that sometimes he gets out of position. He creates big plays for the offense.
Kevin Falk gets about 2 before Mike Lodish puts the stops on him.
Well, this defense is definitely playing with more aggression, covering tighter, but you know that happens when you're desperate too. They know the situation. We're already down to 5:47 in the third. They've done a good job of stopping this offense, but they've gained no ground, so they have to keep playing with desperation and hope they can cause another turnover.
Bledsoe needs the 20-yard line for a first down. He's into the end zone, loses the football, recovers it again. Now we're going to have an official.
They're going to give him forward momentum, it looks like, in the field of play.
Forward progress was stopped in the field of play.
Now, let's watch this. I can see why they say it, but it looks like once he gets past the line, he decides to make another move. Let's see if he does it. When he made that reverse turn, I think he was trying to get here we go. He's trying to get away from the defender.
There's the reverse before the defender got to
See,
it.
he was going to make the reverse and try to get away. That should have been a safety.
Bledsoe sacked twice now on the last 3 plays. And now we have timeout on the field. Timeout New England. Timeout New England as they try to regroup, and we'll come back right after this. Back in Denver, let's at least leave open the possibility Lee Johnson might take a safety here rather than kick it away. That's exactly what he does. So give the Broncos the 2 points that they felt they deserved anyway.
Well, let's take a look at the last play where Drew Bledsoe, here we go, watch this. Now, when he reverses, I think he's going to try to make a play and go in the end zone. Now, I do understand what they're saying, too. Watch when he reverses his field. Right here, he's grabbed. The ball could have been right over the goal line. But he is trying his momentum and his, no, I can't even say that. He's in the end zone. It's a safety. Now, Greg, we were talking about he could be challenged. Well, Mike Shanahan, good job of not using one of the challenges. I don't think it's going to be reversed because it's just an interpretation of what you saw, and I think he did the same thing you just said. He thought they would take the safety and punt it, so there was nothing to gain for him right there.
We've already seen what the official's opinion was when they made the ruling.
And it was close to the goal line behind, but I just thought Drew, once he reversed himself, he's going to try to run away, and he realizes there's nowhere to go.
So give the Broncos 2. It's now a 21-5 game, and the Broncos will get the free kick.
Now you just think, now, what is the difference in this Broncos defense? You know, it just goes to show you sometimes the emotion, situations. The desperate team at the start of the game was the Patriots. They were 0-4. Now the desperate team is the Broncos, and look what it does to the play on the field.
Well, I would suggest possibly, emotion, but you'd shoot that down in a minute, wouldn't you?
No.
You wouldn't?
No, emotion is a big thing. Desperation usually brings great emotion with it, which usually helps your physical ability to play a little harder and make good plays.
O'Neal inside his own 15-yard line. 35, 40, spinning at the 45, still on his feet, and there he goes. touchdown by Deltha O'Neal, the rookie out of California.
Mike Shanahan going for 2, but Deltha O'Neal, #1 draft pick, brought in for one of the big reasons to help the return game. Oh, that is some good move. A total spin reversal, and then comes down for the touchdown.
Deltha O'Neal getting the plaudits from his teammates on the sideline. Just like that. 8 quick points on the board for Denver.
As I look at this 2-point conversion, well, Denver doesn't look like they're going to spread it 5 wides. That has not worked. A different tactic this time.
Anderson, penalty markers are down in the end zone. Penalty markers are down all over the field.
Did New England have too many people on the field? They're pointing at number 91 going off.
'91 is Bobby Hamilton.
12 players on defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try.
Well, here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 12 people.
You don't feel, I think that's a really good defense if you can get away with it.
Well, the problem is if it doesn't work, you really know you're bad.
Anderson, right side, not going to get there. So Bobby Hamilton and Ted Johnson combined to stop the 2-point conversion. It's a 21-11 lead for New England. The Broncos, however, with a big boost for what is technically a kickoff return from Deltha O'Neal. That's getting maximum production on the scoreboard in minimal amount of time. Deltha O'Neal 87 yards for the touchdown off the free kick. It's a 10-point game. Falk and Redmond deep. This is Falk from 2 yards deep. 15, 20, 23-yard line. 25-yard return, and let's go back to Deltha O'Neal's gym.
Well, as he comes through, watch Tony George, 41. I got him. What a spin, what a move. And then just good hustle. Never give up on a play. You always hear that. But when you come and watch the films the next day and you realize, hey, I just gave that little effort, you just never know when a guy's going to break a tackle, get down the field, and your extra effort makes a difference in a touchdown and just a nice return.
Now, let's see if Drew Bledsoe and the New England offense have an answer.
What the Patriots need to do, I think, they need to go to a play where it doesn't let them come up and just beat the defense physically. They need like a cute little play to let somebody get them a first down.
Bledsoe throws incomplete, intended for Chris Floyd out of the backfield. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And what I meant by that, Greg, is like line up, throw it out to Terry Glenn, and let him make a one-on-one move. Don't try to stand in there and slug it out because you're not winning that battle anymore up front.
By the way, Al Wilson again in on Drew Bledsoe under pressure. On 2nd down, Bledsoe throws this side. It is complete. Troy Brown, and Brown hit hard by John Mobley.
Man, John Mobley and Al Wilson, they're like the Wrecking Brothers today. They are hitting everything that's moving, but this is a good play, what I was talking about. Tony Simmons is the outside receiver. All he did was come inside. Look at him. All he came down was he was a blocker the whole time. That play was set up. Throw it to Troy Brown, block for him, and see if he can pick up a first down.
We're going to get a measurement for the first down. The ball close to a first down at the 33-yard line.
See, the Patriots need like a first down or 2 of them just to get their confidence, their rhythm, and of course, to make the defense start guessing again. Denver's defense is dictating everything right now, and the Patriots can't stop it.
You know, it's only a couple of inches or so for a first down.
Now I would bring in Michael Bishop. I would bring him in, and you know what? I wouldn't let him keep it and run around the end. I'd bring him in to hand it off, because when he comes in, everybody's going to think, watch out, so it might ease the point of attack just enough for the New England offense to get a first down.
Well, Michael Bishop still on the sideline. Bledsoe is the quarterback on 3rd and inches. Kevin Falk in the backfield along with Chris Floyd. Falk, first down across the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Boy, that was some good running. Kevin Falk, not the biggest running back there is, but that time, you know, we always say this, know the situation. If you need an inch, get the inch. Don't try to get a 5-yard run or a 10-yard run. He played it, both hands on the football, trying to get a foot, and all of a sudden he goes, oh, well, okay, I'll pick up 2 or 3 for you.
Line of scrimmage is the 36-yard line. First down, New England. Bledsoe back to the air. Under pressure. Twists away from one, but not the rest. 3rd time today he's been sacked. We have a penalty marker down on the field.
We're going to get a hold. Nope. I see Bill Romanowski clapping. I thought it was, yep, a hold on the defensive secondary of Denver.
Holding, 39 defense, 5 yards, first down.
That's Ray Crockett, the cornerback.
That's a big play. You finally get the sack of Drew Bledsoe. Watch him. Troy Brown. Oh, see, there you go. Anytime a receiver changes direction unexpectedly, it puts those defensive backs in a tough spot. You reach out and grab.
You know, it wasn't a momentary hold. He held on for a good long while.
I mean, get a good grip. Don't let go.
Bledsoe, deep drop. Time to throw. Rolls. A wide open man inside the 45. Troy Brown inside the 25 and down to the 20.
Well, Terry Glenn was on the outside, and I'll tell you what, he was running a 100-yard dash. Look at him down the field. He gets it opened up, and look at the crease between the safeties and the linebackers and the defensive backs. And Troy Brown finds the hole, and Drew Bledsoe buys some extra time to find him down the field.
What a day Troy Brown is enjoying here this afternoon. 5 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Bledsoe, quick pass, over the middle, complete to Tony Simmons, and Simmons inside the 10. How's that for a momentum shift?
Boy, all from a change of direction by a receiver, and Ray Buchanan was covering him. That leads to a first down, a play call that gives you the advantage, and then you come back and you do a good job of seeing a blitz, getting rid of the football quick to Tony Simmons, and the best thing he did, protected inside against the defense is trying to get the turnover.
Floyd and Shaw in the backfield on 1st and goal for New England. Shaw, not much there. No gain on the play, 2nd and goal.
Well, this drive by New England, of course, it's changed field position. It's better than it now. They're now going to try to score points, but they've changed the field position, maybe get points, and they've eaten up a lot of clock too. 4 minutes and counting.
And now Drew Bledsoe says, want a timeout. And he stops the clock with 48 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Patriots with just 1 timeout remaining now in the 2nd half.
You know, it goes back, Greg, when we said it right from the beginning. When your defense is going to play desperate, what happens is if you do get the time and you get the right situation, it creates an opportunity. And everybody was so intent on stopping the run, but it was a play action fake by Bledsoe. Everybody comes up. Terry Glenn creates that big hole, and look what happens. A wide open receiver, which is which is hard to find that wide open in the NFL.
Let's remind our viewers there were two big question marks for the Broncos coming into this game. One was the ability of Brian Griese to throw with the shoulder injury. He has done that very well. The other was the ability of Terrell Davis to run the football. He left the game in the first half and has not returned since. Second and goal from the 9-yard line. 2 previous trips into the red zone for New England, 2 touchdowns. Bledsoe throws this side, touchdown! Terry Glenn.
Well, if you're going to play man-to-man coverage in the secondary, I don't see how, with protection, here's Terry Glenn, quarterback's being protected, you cannot cover him one-on-one down the field. Well, he trips over his own feet, but it doesn't matter, he's in the end zone. Look at that protection. Nobody in the line of sight of Drew Bledsoe looking outside, and boy, the Patriots would love to see that matchup every single game.
4 touchdown passes on the day for Bledsoe, and 3 of them in the red zone. New England recovers very well from the long return by Deltha O'Neal. Drew Bledsoe, all smiles, all celebration.
Well, he's getting tired now. The celebration is not as good as they were earlier in the game, but Terry Glenn been a kind of forgotten man up in New England for the last, in my eyes, the last couple of years. But Greg, we said early in the show, and Drew Bledsoe talked about it, Mike Shanahan, when you watch this guy and see him in person, or you watch him on film, you go, boy, he's still special. He still can be one of the top receivers in the NFL.
Glenn with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season, 28-11 New England. And we remind you, it's Premiere Sunday here on CBS. On the season premiere of 60 Minutes, Ed Bradley reports on how Firestone answers the charge that their tires are unsafe. Then, a special premiere of That's Life. To the DeLucas, family is sacred, football's a religion. Paul Sorvino, Ellen Burstyn, and Heather Page Kent star in That's Life, followed by Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan in the CBS Sunday movie City of Angels, all tonight on CBS.
Well, look at that, 3 TDs in the red zone in the first 4 games, and today, well, three touchdowns once they've got down inside, and that just comes from, you know, it starts always from the beginning. Just good protection, Drew Bledsoe getting the time, and the skilled people that they have, which is pretty good still on the outside, are getting open, and they're making the connections.
77-yard drive, and O'Neal is deep, and he will not run this one out of the end zone. It's about 8 yards deep.
Boy, does this change the complexion again for the Patriot defense. A defensive lineman goes, okay, go ahead. Run that draw and get 5 or 6. They're going to play pass. I don't care what Bill Belichick tells them on the sidelines. Defensive linemen love to get in situations where they can be a little more aggressive going towards a quarterback and not have to worry about screens, draws, and things like that as much as they would if the game was close.
First down from the 20-yard line. Griese barks the signals. Play fake. Throws down the middle. McCaffrey with another terrific catch in the middle of the field. Out to the 40-yard line and a first down.
Anticipation by Brian Griese and a little hesitation by Otis Smith, who's playing the safety spot with Lawyer Malloy. He really anticipates this, but watch Otis Smith come in there and make the hit. Otis Smith waited just a second too long, and again McCaffrey in tight quarters making a good catch.
They have 3 seconds to get this play off, and they do before the quarter ends. Griese, time, and now goes down. Loose football, bouncing around. Who comes up with it? Denver. Greg Spires in and hit Brian Griese to force the fumble. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. 28-11 Patriots. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. You see right next door the new home, the future home of the Denver Broncos, still under construction.
I tell us, Ray, just in case they couldn't see.
You did a great
Draw
job.
your attention to it.
Start of the fourth quarter. 28-11 New England. Greasy throws down the middle. Rod Smith to the 43-yard line. Let's go back to that hit that Brian Greasy took.
Well, here's what jumps out at me. Here's Greg Spires, and watch, he's getting blocked by a running back. You know, there is just no way Howard Griffith, even though he's a good blocker and a good pass blocker, is going to hold a defensive lineman out for any length of time. So either a blown assignment by the Broncos offensive line or really just a badly drawn up play.
3rd and 7, McCaffrey in motion. Greasy throws. Smith has enough for the first down. Good pass, good catch. That's good for 9 yards and 131 yards, 132 yards receiving for Rod Smith today.
Well, the one thing about these Denver Bronco wide receivers, they are tough, and they just continually make tough catches when they know they're going to take big hits.
Easy to catch it when you're not going to get hit. Broncos in New England territory. Greasy steps up and is going to run. 45, out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Phil would go back to that hit that he took, and again, Brian Greasy emphasizing to us he wasn't concerned about throwing the football. He was concerned about taking a hit and falling the right way, because there is a right way to fall. I kind of laughed at that. You said, oh, no, that's true.
Oh, yeah, you know, as a quarterback, your longevity or staying in the game and doing the right thing for your team, look, you are going to get hit no matter how good your team is. You've got to learn to absorb those hits, and you got to know when they're coming and how to fall down when you get them.
Wide open up the middle is Mike Anderson. Anderson inside the 25, and we go to New York and Jim Nance. Jim.
All right, the Dolphins are starting to pull away, Greg, and for the second time, it's Jay Fiedler to Arondé Gadsden. And look at the Dolphins. Unanswered stretch, 31 points. Pouring it on the Bengals. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. Mike Anderson up the middle for 20 yards. And it's a first down now for Denver at the New England 24-yard line. Greasy under pressure and goes down. Chris Slade from the outside linebacker spot.
Well, from the right side, it was a defensive lineman before. This time it's a linebacker. Look at Chris Slade. Nobody there. Well, I know who had the blocking assignment that time. You could tell Mike Anderson went, oh no. Made too good of a fake. In this situation, the number one thing is pass protection. Look at who you pick up in case they blitz. Mike Anderson forgot.
3rd New England sack of the day. 2nd and 15. Quick drop by Greasy. Quick pass and nobody there on the slant. Greasy says somebody was interfered with, and in fact, McCaffrey is sitting on the ground.
Well, Willie McGinnis is the line. He's on the outside. Watch Ed McCaffrey coming across. Watch when he tries to go back up inside. Excuse me. It's all right.
You got him, Lawyer.
3rd and 15.
2 down territory for the Broncos, so you don't have to pick it all up this time.
Steps up, down the middle, intercepted. Intercepted by Tebucky Jones at the goal line. And Greasy just lofted that one into the air.
Well, again, pressure from the outside. Brian Greasy steps up and just makes a bad decision. Throwing it down the middle. Safety in the middle, gets an easy interception.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Brian Greasy was creeping up on John Elway's team record of 189 consecutive attempts without an interception. Tebucky Jones put an end to that. Chris Floyd, J.R. Redmond in the backfield. First man through is Floyd. He doesn't get through very much. Brian Griese on the sideline has really been under the gun today. Willie McGinnis was the first one to get to him early on in the first quarter. Then Spires, then Slade, and in addition to that, he's been hurried a whole lot of times.
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised the Patriots got some plays down the field today on offense because everybody does that against Denver. But the big surprise has been the pressure on the quarterback, the pass rush, just creating opportunities for the New England offense.
They foil the blitz with a quick pass to Troy Brown outside, and he breaks it out over the 5-yard line.
Nice play. You know, very nice play. When you're, I think, to have a really good offense in the National Football League, and I used to have these arguments all the time when I played, as a quarterback, you need about 10 plays a game where don't make me think, coach. Don't make me make the play physically. Just give it to me. So that's what Charlie Weiss did to Drew Bledsoe. Look, Drew, he's going to be open to the screen. Just pick up and throw it to him. He does it. 5 yards. That's a big 5 yards. Now, if you get a punt, at least you got some room.
Falk alone back on 3rd and 5. Bledsoe going to roll and throw, and it's incomplete. Intended for Troy Brown, and Ray Crockett was on him. And Brown is looking for a call that is not going to come from the officials.
Just good defense by the Broncos that time. And a good call, too. Get Drew Bledsoe out of the pocket and say, throw it to the sideline or throw it away.
Deltha O'Neal, author of an 87-yard return in the 3rd quarter, is standing at his own 45. Johnson. O'Neal going to let it bounce, and it's going to roll inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. O'Neal hated the fact that it took a bounce away from him, nullified his chance for any return at all. Beautiful day here in the Mile High City. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katan. Are we at Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Brian Griese back to work from his own 38. Quick drop slant. Rod Smith having a terrific day across midfield and into New England territory. A pickup of 13. Here's Drew Bledsoe on the far sideline with Terry Glenn.
I'd have my arm around him too. Just that's for New England, that offense to keep going and to keep being explosive. Those are the two guys that are going to make it happen for that offense.
Rod Smith has a career high 11 catches today. Griese down the middle, incomplete. What a play by Lawyer Malloy.
That was some nice play. Good timing. You know, I always hear coaches talk about this. When what separates just a good player and a really good defensive back is when the ball is in the air, can the defensive back that's really good, can he make the play on the football? A lot of times you see defensive backs that can cover the receiver, but when the ball's in the air, they can't finish it off. Lawyer Malloy, Ty Law, those are two guys, well, that's why they make a lot of money. They can make a play on the football when it's in the air.
2nd and 10. Griese, short one over the middle. That's complete to Mike Anderson. And Anderson inside the New England 45-yard line. Clock continues to move, coming up on 9.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
You know, Greg, earlier when that interception that Brian Griese threw the last time, they're down 17 points, so I was a little quick to say that they needed to go for it on 4th down or whatever. They're going to need a field goal here. You think about it, a field goal, 2 touchdowns to tie it up, so you got to kind of think that way. When in doubt, you get in there, kick the field goal.
Griese throws this side. It is fumbled on its way out of bounds. They're going to rule that complete. Yes, they are. Desmond Clark looked like he was having trouble controlling the football as he approached the sideline.
Well, that's a big play. New England should have a coach looking this over. Let's see if he does get control of it. It's up in the air. Got it. Well, yes, I guess so.
You're so decisive.
I know I am. Well, here's why I hedged. Because if it is replayed, it's not going to be reversed. So as he goes, boom, did he get it right there? Did he have possession? Looks like he did. There, is that better?
And it's enough for a 1st down. Talk about unfamiliar territory. How about this? The Denver Broncos have not lost back-to-back games here at home in 10 years. October of 1990 is the last time it happened. Well, actually, that would make it 11 years, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I can't add that quick, but sounds right.
First down, Broncos. In a long time. How's that?
It'd be 10 years in my edition, Greg. I don't know how you got that.
Greasy down the middle. Tipped and incomplete. Intended for Byron Chamberlain.
Andy Katzenmoyer deep. That's where a linebacker should be at this time of the game and knowing the situation. Let them catch it underneath if you have to. But when you know you're playing two safeties deep, the middle linebacker, get back there and make them throw over your head, and hopefully you'll get an interception.
I got my shoe off, and I've come to the conclusion it's 11 years ago. There goes Phil's shoe. Greasy on the slant. Rod Smith inside the 35 to the 31-yard line.
Greg, it happened in 1990.
So 90 is one.
But no, you don't. It happened then. It's not 1 year then. It's 10 years. 91 would be the first year after it happened. Excuse me. Okay.
Where's my abacus?
You know what? You need to pay me for tutoring you. Here we go. Big down.
Slipping at midfield is Mike Anderson. And he's down at the 32-yard line.
Well, there's no hesitation. Mike Shanahan knows you got to go for it. Even though he needs 3 scores, the field goal would be near 50 yards, and no use wasting that opportunity on a 50-yard field goal. Now, Denver, one thing they love to do in these situations, we showed it to you earlier, they put a good receiver, Ed McCaffrey to the right. If he's singled, take him up the field and throw it outside.
Greasy throws this side. McCaffrey complete. First down inside the 25 to about the 21-yard line.
Well, they change it up. What a nice job. They bring Rod Smith in there, and Rod Smith gets in the way. Look, Ty Law and Ed McCaffrey. Watch Rod Smith. He gets right up in the way of Ty Law, creates the opening for the throw. So they just got another way. They got about 4 different ways they'll run the same play.
Which is exactly what Bill Belichick told us Mike Shanahan does. Whistles on the field to bring everything to a halt. They've spotted it now at the 21-yard line. Greasy with time. Down the sideline. It is incomplete. Antonio Langham stuck a hand up to knock it down. It'll be 2nd and 10. Rod Smith is going to sleep really well tonight.
Well, you got the New England defense, what you need to do right now and what they did that play there. Keep your defensive back and your safeties deep. Go ahead and make this offense take 3 or 4 plays at least to score a touchdown, because time then will become a serious factor for the Denver Broncos offense.
Antonio Langham made that play, and he is slow getting up. Let's go back one more time and see if he landed awkwardly after going up to bat down the pass.
He goes up. Good job there. Sees the out and up. Gets in good position. Has to jump.
Well, that's what happened. And Langham is still down, and we'll take a timeout. 7:03 to play. Greasy steps up, throws to the end zone, incomplete. Ty Law on Ed McCaffrey.
Well, anytime there's a long pass down the field, the crowd just immediately gets all excited. It's got to be pass interference, but a good job by Ty Law in good position.
Well, this is what the crowd was grumbling about.
Well, you can see Ty Law in good position. Does put his arm out there, but he turns, looks for the football, and then McCaffrey actually pushes off at the end.
3rd and 10. Greasy pulled it down and got nailed. Kato Serwanga got off the ground to register the hit. That's a pretty good play.
Yes, it was. Good hustle. And Mike Shanahan looks up at the scoreboard, knows he's 17 down. You go for the 3 points now. But look up top. Serwanga, he's blocked by Howard Griffin, knocks to the ground, and immediately gets right back up and makes the sack.
Got a finger up around the face mask.
Didn't hold it. No penalty.
Nedney from 43 yards out. That's long enough, but he hooked it. That's like clockwork for Jason Elam, but he's injured and not due back for at least a week. 28-11. That's the kind of day it is here in Denver. Drew Bledsoe with kind of a half smile on his face as he goes into the huddle. And he has had himself an exceptional day. 26 completions for Brian Griese represent a career high.
Drew Bledsoe, 10 yards a throw and 4 touchdowns with 27 attempts.
J.R. Redmond is the man in the backfield. And you would look for the Patriots to try to run the football a bit here. Redmond across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. You talk about Drew Bledsoe. There were so many questions this week about his contract, about restructuring it, about his status as a starting quarterback, and really the most important one is the commitment of Patriot owner Robert Kraft to him long term. I spoke to Kraft before the game, and he said that's a very easy question to answer. He goes, we're very happy to have Drew Bledsoe here in New England, and I hope and believe he will finish his career as a Patriot. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin. You know, Phil, you and I talk about this. And
Sure.
you know, there aren't many quarterbacks that come along with the size, the talent, and the ability of a Drew Bledsoe.
No, that's right, Greg. And, you know, I waffled a little early in the week thinking about this, and I kind of thought, well, maybe they will have to change things. And I called a few people who I trust their opinion in the league, and they laughed at me, going, are you kidding? He is a franchise quarterback, and what are you going to do? Let's just think about it. So you get rid of Drew Bledsoe. Now, who's going to come in and play? Name him. Go ahead. Who's out there? You know, these quarterbacks don't float around. You're going to draft somebody and play and stink up the joint for a couple years before he's ready to win? Well, I don't think Bill Belichick wants to do that for the next coach.
The pitch to Redmond, turning a corner on the left side across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Pick up 4, and it'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, look at today. You know, and again, quarterbacks, you never hear a quarterback playing well for a losing team because it's hard to do. It's all about circumstances. How many chances do you get when you play in a team that's not protecting you as well as it should, and you don't have the playmakers outside that you used to? Your statistics have to go down. You're not going to be as productive. So that's part of the reason for Drew Bledsoe the last couple of years.
You know, let's go back to another comment that he made last night. We said, well, you know, how do you think you get out of this? And he says, I want to go back a little more to doing what we do best, and that's throw the football around the field.
Well, I've never heard him say anything but that. You know, his way of getting out of everything is to just let me throw it more. As you see Michael Bishop come into the game, this is what they want. 3rd and short. I guess he hands it off.
He tried to run it earlier. It didn't work. It's an option. He's going to keep it. He gets a 1st down and close to it. That's going to be awfully close. The Broncos are protesting the spot. Tanavasa and Billy Jenkins with the stop. Well, you can see Michael Bishop has legs.
Well, that's good. It's a nice design by Charlie Weiss and Bill Belichick trusting Michael Bishop. I like the calls. I like the fact that they're going to try to incorporate him a little, but I think it's you got to be really careful when to do it.
How about this? We're going to have a measurement here, but Drew Bledsoe has already come back onto the field to replace Michael Bishop.
He's got good eyes. He knows it's a 1st down, Greg. He's not like you. He doesn't have to sit here and see it 4 times in a replay to make a decision.
Let alone count.
Yes. Yeah, we won't get into that again.
1st down, New England.
That was pretty good, you're counting. I don't want to buy any lumber from you if 90 to 2000 is 11 years.
Lumber.
But what a win. You know, as I look at this game, as we're coming down to the end, the Patriots are going to win it. Now, you know, believe it or not, I think they got another big hurdle now. They win a game. It relieves a lot of pressure. It makes them feel good now. But can you reload and get that intensity back that we heard Armin talk about at the beginning of the show that they hadn't practiced last week? Can you do that again this week?
Redmond bouncing off tacklers across the 45 to about the 47, where he runs into most of the Denver defense.
You know, another little thing it reminds me of, you know, talking to Drew Bledsoe, he go, you know, I said, well, how you doing? He goes, oh, well, he kind of, you know, hey, I'm hanging in there, and, you know, once the week gets going, I feel okay. And I said, yeah, I know what you mean. When you lose on Sundays in the NFL as a quarterback, it is a terrible Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday, and the only thing that gets you out of that feeling is you come in Wednesday morning and you start working on the next game, and that's what he told us.
That's what the Denver Broncos are looking at after back-to-back losses here at home.
Round 15. Round 15.
The pitch to Redmond. Redmond smacked down at about the 47-yard line. Al Wilson, Bill Romanowski, and another little shoving back and forth. We have a timeout on the field. 4:34. We talked about those back-to-back losses 10 years ago. You know how long ago that was? Well, 60 Minutes was brand new at the time.
Good evening. This is 60 Minutes. It's a kind of a magazine for television.
Well, it was the Boston Patriots at the time, and they registered the victory here at Denver, but boy, look at the uniforms. The uniforms were totally different.
Oh, I loved them. And that was the last time New England has come out here and won a football game. That, you know, I saw a few people from the Patriots, Bay Pirelli and them, they're out here for the game, and they were part of that game 30-some years ago. It's a kind of a magazine show, huh? That's what it was. Yeah. They don't come out and tell you what it is. Well, we think it maybe is this.
Radical new idea.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe hadn't been born yet. 3rd and 7.
25.
And they'll keep it on the ground with Redmond. Midfield, but he'll be well short of a first down. And the Patriots will kick it away with 4:27 and counting to play.
I think too, Greg, as I look at this game, the other thing that jumped out at me, we said it a few times, the protection Drew Bledsoe received, and we were warned, and you kind of saw it down in Miami against a good Miami defense. The protection was pretty good for Drew Bledsoe down there. He likes his line. He says it's coming together, and Bill Belichick mentioned it too, that he likes the progress they're showing, and he thinks they're going to be pretty solid here, you know, as they go along.
O'Neal on his own 10-yard line. Johnson lofts this one, and it bounces out of bounds just inside the 20. Not what Johnson wanted, but he'll take it. 32-yard punt, and back onto the field comes Brian Griese, who seems to have weathered the test of his throwing shoulder well.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. A torn labrum in the right shoulder, and that's kind of, not that I know much about medical science, but it's like a sheath that goes around the joint. He tore it in the front. It's going to be sore for him. He's going to be really sore tonight and tomorrow.
Well, you know enough about it because you had it.
I had it in 1993, which was 7 years ago, but it wasn't as bad as it really wasn't too bad. I weathered the storm for about 8 games.
Griese over the middle behind McCaffrey, and it's incomplete. And that'll stop the clock with 3:43 to play. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you are watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the New England Patriots and Denver Broncos. I'm Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan. The Patriots, winless thus far this season, are poised to claim their first. They lead the Broncos 28-11. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. 2nd and 10. Griese throws, hits McCaffrey at the 25. McCaffrey another 4 yards, close to a first down. Broncos cannot stop the clock. It continues to move under 3.5 minutes.
And what you do, I'm Brian Griese. I take no chances.
He's going to hold on to it and sneak for the first down.
You just keep throwing it short, and you work your way down the football field slowly, if that's what the defense does to you, and you just take a cheap touchdown at the end of the game.
Well, we have seen improbabilities as recently as last week's Jets comeback against Tampa Bay, but this New England defense has played magnificently this afternoon. There's another catch for Rod Smith.
Well, when I look at New England and I see their team, the strength, without a doubt, I think is this defense. It's got big-time players, Willie McGinnis up front, Ted Johnson in the middle, two guys in the secondary that are at the top of their profession in Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy. They should play well. They should give their team, the offense, a chance to win every week. When you have a good defense in the NFL, you should always be in the contest.
Clock continues to move. First down. Greasy over the middle. And that's complete to Byron Chamberlain. And Chamberlain across midfield and into New England territory.
You know, Brian Greasy has completed a lot of passes today. But New England's defense, the smart thing, not giving up those big plays.
And Greasy kills the clock with 2:04 to play. So he'll get another play off before the 2-minute warning. Remember, Broncos are out of timeouts. And you know, you're right. You take another look at this New England team now. Everybody looks and they go, oh, they're 0-2, they're 0-3, they're 0-4. They can't win a game. Suddenly they come into Mile High Stadium and look very impressive in a win against the Broncos.
You know, that's what the league is kind of, isn't it, Greg? We see it every week, and, you know, we always talk and people say, well, who do you think's going to win? And, well, it's a slam dunk. The Broncos are going to win. But we see so many upsets, and this year, more than ever, we're seeing teams go on the road and win in tough places.
Well, with 3rd and 1, New England has now called a timeout. What happened in this game? Well, New England Patriots got a break early with a turnover, forced a fumble, and took it in for a score, and have never looked back.
You know, the big thing is Drew Bledsoe. Look how efficient. 27 throws, 271 for 4 touchdowns.
Greasy, this is his 51st attempt, and it's a long one down the sideline. Travis McGriff toward the end zone, in the air, touchdown. Brian Greasy bent over at midfield.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think that would hurt his arm a little. That ball got away from him when he tried to put the extra mustard on it. It was not there. It wobbled, it hung, and that's why Travis McGriff, watch this, to Bucky Jones and Otis Smith, knock it away from each other.
Travis McGriff with his first touchdown of the season.
Now let's watch Brian Greasy. Oh yeah, there's a little sting there. He told us when we were talking to him, he says one out of about every 8 or 10 throws, he goes, ooh, there's something there. He can feel that twinge.
And what did Mike Shanahan say? Well, just don't throw that 8th one.
Yeah.
2-point attempt. Greasy going to loft it towards the corner. McGriff can't get there, and it's out of bounds, and a penalty flag. Now that is an uncatchable ball, I think. Otis Smith was the defender.
See, Greg.
Pass interference, 45 defense, half the distance to the goal, retry.
Here would be my answer to that. I hear that all the time. But you got to make a judgment then. If it's uncatchable, one of the reasons why it's uncatchable is because the quarterback, the receiver's either held up or the quarterback says, well, he's covered because of the hold, and he throws it away.
Oh, we'll try it again. Greasy going to look the other way this time and complete it. And that's Ed McCaffrey. Greasy threw that one with a little authority. McCaffrey pulls it in. We're just under 2 minutes to play. And it's a 28-19 score. At dash, Phil says there goes lunch.
Oh, you're terrible.
But he's safely off the field, and we have to be ready for the very definite possibility of an onside kick here by the Broncos.
Hey, excessive celebration by the squirrel. Get him.
A gaggle of Chargers, of Patriots here on the sideline, and Eric Bjornsson gathered it in as the Broncos come charging down the field, and there is no play to be made. premiere Sunday on CBS, the season premiere of 60 Minutes. Ed Bradley reporting on how Firestone answers the charge their tires are unsafe. Then a special premiere of That's Life. Paul Sorvino, Ellen Burstyn, Heather Page Kent star in That's Life, followed by Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan, the CBS Sunday movie City of Angels. That's all tonight here on CBS. So ball control, the name of the game now for the New England Patriots. Denver is out of timeouts.
Boy, Mike Shanahan, you look at that, that's just a picture of, it says it all. I think this Bronco team, a lot of people thought they're going to be back this year. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with the whole year. They take the St. Louis Rams in the opening game of the year, one of the most exciting games I've seen in I don't know how long. But now look at them at 2-3, losing to Kansas City and New England here. Really two games that almost everybody chalked up, no way they could lose, and they've done it.
You just saw Bill Belichick on the sideline. How much relief is he feeling after the 0-4 start in New England?
Well, I think they're feeling good about what they did here today, but it's going to take a few weeks of good play before they feel good, because I think they want to get back into what they got to do is try to get back to 500 if that's possible. Schedule is awfully tough for the Patriots.
Well, Mike Shanahan, knowing that he's got to tinker a little bit more, and you know, I asked you, Phil, Terrell Davis shows again that he can't go full speed. What do you do with him? Do you continue to work him out? Do you sit him down for a while?
Well, that's going to be the tough decision. I think they're going to have to say, look, maybe just keep him out if you can, if it's possible, at least until they get their break, their bye week, which is quite a few weeks away. And then after that's over, see if he can go full speed in practice and be a part of your offense again.
Guess what? That kneel down makes the last play of the game. Bill Belichick, a winner for the first time in his head coaching career at New England. Mike Shanahan falls to 2-3 on the season. And what a performance, offensive and defensive, by the New England Patriots today.
Yes, it was. It shows you why people were upset about the 0-4 start, because they have the talent.
Once again, our final score, the Patriots 28, the Broncos 19, coming up next on CBS, except in the Pacific time zone. Stay tuned for another fascinating 60 minutes. For Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, Greg Gumbel, so long from Denver. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 35.